What's up everybody, it's RobinGaming here. So over 850 of you people filled out the survey that I put up last week, and I thought where I normally do all of these countdown videos, for example a little while back I did my top 10 most anticipated PS4 games, I thought maybe it would be cool this time to make a list of your votes, what are the games you're excited about, and pretty much do a top 10 most anticipated games out of all the ones coming up that you're looking forward to a lot. So basically I was thinking maybe I should use a certain formula or something, because if you can recall, I gave you 4 options for every single game, like either you're definitely getting it, you're probably getting it, you're probably not getting it, or you're not getting it at all. I was thinking maybe I should take like all of these things into account, but in the end it just got too complicated, and what I pretty much did is I just looked at the total number of votes regarding that you're definitely getting a certain game, and that's what this top 10 is based on. So in the end I do have a couple of honorable mentions, and those are Kingdom Hearts 3, Bloodborne, Rainbow Six Siege, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and the next Call of Duty. Those are the games that just didn't make it into the top 10, but came very close to it. But once again, in total there were about 25 games, so a lot more games that actually didn't make it into the list. These came very close. So let's just immediately get into the top 10 now. And at number 10 is the next Assassin's Creed. Now Ubisoft has had a very rough year, and especially regarding Assassin's Creed. You know, Unity was not a success in any way. Many people lost interest in the franchise and weren't really too sure about the future of the series, so it was actually pretty surprising for me to see that so many of you are still putting your faith into that series, and that you're definitely going to be getting the next Assassin's Creed, no matter what it's going to be like. We already know it's probably going to take place in London and stuff. It's going to be sort of like this Victorian style game, very much like The Order was and that kind of stuff. But yeah, number 10 Assassin's Creed. At number 9 is The Witcher 3. Definitely one of the most anticipated games of this year. I know a lot of you aren't really that much into RPGs, so I would have expected this to be a little higher. I think overall the game maybe deserves to be a little higher, but that being said, I'm not particularly excited about it myself. Like, I think it's going to be one of the biggest games, but you know, I share that same interest in that I don't really like the game is definitely not as much for me as I would hope it would be, but that being said, a number 9 spot is definitely a very good one for this game. At number 8 we have No Man's Sky, and that actually shows you how much of an impact an indie game can have this day, because even though it is one, it is still one of the most anticipated games at the moment, and I think it also looks incredible. Like, there's a lot of potential for this game. I just think that it still has to prove itself in the gameplay aspect. Like, is this going to be fun to play? Is there going to be plenty of stuff to do for a long time? But if so, you know, then I'm just sure it's going to be a success. One thing I should mention, by the way, is that I didn't really talk about the votes yet. No Man's Sky had a total of 200 votes for definitely getting out of 850. The Witcher 3 199, and the next Assassin's Creed had 196. So they're all very close in that way. It almost could have been like a random order here, but that being said, this is so far the top 10. So let's go to the number 7, and number 7 is The Division. Has 202 votes, so once again very close here, and I think that once again it's a Ubisoft game. They still have to prove themselves, and especially with all of these kind of like games that we saw as being overrated, like Watch Dogs and stuff. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see if The Division can live up to the hype and be a game that is gonna keep us playing it for a very long time, but if so, once again I'm sure it's gonna be a success. At number 6 is actually a game that I didn't put in my personal top 10, and that is Just Cause 3. So that was actually a little surprising, but I do have to admit I have not played any of the games in the series so far, and I heard Just Cause 2 was really cool. So I'm sure these games are like plenty of fun and stuff. You can use this grappling hook and the zip lines, those kinds of things. It's pretty much this extreme kind of like open world game, right? And I think it looks very cool, even though we haven't seen any gameplay from this particular one yet. What I saw of Just Cause 2 definitely made me think, yeah, you know, number 3 is going to be a very exciting game, and I'm probably going to be picking it up. Just Cause 3 had a total of 210 votes for definitely getting. Once again, all of these games so far have been very close. At number 5 is Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, a game that I'm very much looking forward to. Personally, I put it at the number 3 spot for my, you know, top 10 upcoming games. It has 229 votes, and I think you know, the thing that Metal Gear Solid does so well is that even though it's definitely a series that is so hardcore, and like you can't pick up any of these games if you haven't played all of the previous ones before, like you're just not gonna understand the story in any way, but still to maintain that big audience for a series that really doesn't really care if people played previous games or not, like it's just gonna continue at that point. And I think that's something that's very respectable, and therefore I still find it very surprising and cool to see this game at the number 5 spot. And then we go to number 4. Now, this is where it became kind of crazy for me, and I totally did not see this coming, and it made me very happy to see the amount of votes for definitely getting for this particular game. At number 4 is Mirror's Edge 2, and I could not believe it when I saw it, especially because that first game was so underrated, or at least it didn't sell up to expectations. It didn't sell well at all. I'm very happy that EA is giving it another chance, and I think if you look at the potential for this game, if it's gonna be open world, if it's gonna have real-time races, if the combat is improved, but overall it still remains to be a game that is all about the parkour and that is very, very fun to play like the first game was, I think EA has a big success here on their hands. And then the only question is, are people going to be picking this up? And to see Mirror's Edge 2 having 289 votes out of 850 for definitely getting, and so many more for the option of probably getting it, I was just amazed by that, and I really, really hope that this game is going to be as much of a success as I want it to be, because then it's going to be absolutely incredible. It's my personal number 2, and I was still nonetheless very, very happy to see it at the number 4 spot in terms of your top 10. Now at number 3 is a game that actually didn't make it into mine. That's because I'm not really a fan of the franchise, but I do have to admit it's a franchise I'm not too familiar with. It's one where I'm gonna be watching all of the movies very soon and totally get caught up in it, because I also want to be a part of that hype for the next Star Wars movie. And so the game I'm of course talking about is Star Wars Battlefront 3. I have played a game that is similar to Battlefront, that was actually Lord of the Rings Conquest. I heard that the game in terms of multiplayer was very similar to that, and I really enjoyed that one. And so for Star Wars, you know, once I'm into that series and I'm gonna be playing this one, I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun there, and I can totally see why it's such a, you know, anticipated game. It has 341 votes for definitely getting, and I think DICE is really on a well, like they're doing very well now, with Battlefield 4 being such a fail in the first few weeks with all the online problems and stuff. To see Mirror's Edge 2 and Star Wars Battlefront 3, all 2 games of them still making it so high into the list, I think they're gonna have lots of success with all of these games. So then we arrive at the number 2 spot, and it's a game that me myself I'm not really looking forward to as much. Also one of those things where I'm not really too much into the franchise, into the overall comics and the movies, but Batman Arkham Knight looks absolutely incredible, and to see this game have 410 votes out of 850 for definitely getting, almost 50% of you are definitely getting this game. And then I'm not even talking about the people that are probably picking it up or probably not, you know, like if you combine those numbers, I think the audience for this game is going to be huge, and from what I've seen of it, of course the previous Batman games were a huge success, and to see this one with its amazing graphics, once again this big, you know, city open city that it has, it introduced the Batmobile, which looked very cool and fun at the same time. Like, I think this open world game is going to be great for sure. It's just that I'm not really into Batman myself, but I will be picking this one up because I know that if you don't do that, you're just missing out. Like, the game is too good to miss out on, even if you're not a fan of the franchise itself. And then of course we arrive at the number 1 spot. This is not going to be a surprise to anyone. However, if you see the amount of votes, 746 out of 850 people said they are definitely getting Uncharted 4 A Thief's End, and that's an incredible number. Of course my channel is mainly centered around the game, so I do understand that a lot of you will naturally be looking forward to this one and will be getting it, so the numbers are definitely not going to be as big if you are looking at different channels, for example, but nonetheless, once again, like it's no excuse to say that nobody's looking forward to this game, of course, because everyone is. I think it's just overall the game that most people will be looking forward to this year, especially PS4 owners. And Uncharted 4, I hope it's not going to disappoint. I hope it's going to once again deliver an incredible single player experience, and then also have a multiplayer that's going to keep me playing it for a long time. But that being said, what more can I say about it, right? I've made so many videos on it now. It's hands down my most anticipated upcoming game, and so it's great to see it also being the case for you. So it makes me, makes me think like, yeah, I'm doing a great job covering this game, because many of you are looking forward to this one. So that was kind of the top 10. I can't really say too much about it yet. You can be angry at it. It's just your overall top 10. This is what you filled out. So I want to know from you, which of these particular games are you looking forward to most? What did you fill out in the survey? And for now, I hope you enjoyed the video, and be sure to tell me if you want to see more of this, because I could be talking about a couple more of the survey results and do these kinds of things. And now with that being said, I would like to thank you a lot for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.